Hi everybody, my name is Mr. Hussain and I am one of the RS consultants for Hajj Federation, and in this video I'm going to be covering the topic of Hajj, which is part of the Islam Practices Unit of the AQA GC specification. So notice on the checklist I'm going to cover those things: what Hajj is, its role, origins, and also how it's performed. So let's go through Hajj. There are many things and elements of Hajj which we have to know about. Let's have a look at what the definition of Hajj is to begin with. So Hajj is one of the 5 pillars and 10 obligatory acts, so you can find it in both Shia and Sunni lists or practices, and it is the pilgrimage to Mecca which all Muslims must undertake at least once in their lives unless prevented by problems over wealth and health. So Hajj is an obligation, but you only have to go on Hajj once in your life and only if you can. You have to be able to afford it financially, but also physically be able to do it as well. Hajj is quite an expensive trip when you think of flights, accommodation, travel, visa, all the things that involve going on to another country. So it is expensive for many people. So in fact, not many people in the world can go on Hajj in their life, but also you have to be physically able to do it as well. Hajj is a very demanding physical pilgrimage that involves lots of walking, lots of physical activities. So you have to be physically able to do it as well. If you don't do it in your lifetime because you weren't able to do it for those reasons, then you are pardoned and forgiven for not completing it. But as a Muslim, you have to complete it if you can and you have the opportunity to do so. So, even though I've said 2 ways Muslims perform Hajj, there are many things you have to know for Hajj on the GCSE specification, so I'll make sure I cover them very specifically. So, how is Hajj done? So, number 1, you have to visit Mecca, and when you go to Mecca, you wear specific clothes. It is called the ihram. Ihram is 2 plain black-white cloths that a man must wear. One cloth covers the top half of their body, the other cloth covers the second half of the body. Women just generally wear the dress that they wear, but they must cover their head, of course, but they are not allowed to cover their face. Okay, so a woman can wear a black or a white covering, but covers their whole body except for their hands and face. Now, what does the Hajj also involve? It involves circling the Kaaba 7 times. When you're at Mecca, it involves asking God for forgiveness in Mount Arafah. So Mount Arafah is a very important mountain where Muhammad gave his last sermon. Muslims spend the day there as part of the Hajj pilgrimage, asking Allah to forgive them. You collect stones at a place called Muzdalifah, and then that leads you to the next ritual where you stone pillars that represent Satan in a place called Mina. Okay, so the Hajj has many rituals. These are some of them that you have to know for your exam. Why is Hajj important? Well, firstly, it's a spiritual journey that involves visiting the house of Allah. So the Kaaba in Mecca is known as the house of Allah. So by visiting that, it's a very spiritual journey. And number 2, you are visiting the birthplace of Islam and the holiest city. This is where Prophet Muhammad was born, where he lived, spread his message to begin with, got the first revelation. So by visiting Mecca and doing the Hajj pilgrimage, you are actually going to the birthplace of Islam. So going to this pilgrimage has got many benefits spiritually, physically, emotionally, mentally. So when a Muslim comes back after the Hajj pilgrimage, they do tend to be quite a changed person for the better. Now, the Quran, I'm going to use 2 quotes rather than 1. The first quote, the people shall observe the Hajj pilgrimage. This is a small Quran verse you can use to show you Allah commanding people to go on Hajj. And the second quote, Allah has made the Kaaba a sacred house, because you could be asked about in your exams about the Kaaba. So therefore you have to know why the Kaaba is important, and this Quran verse tells you that the Kaaba has been made a sacred house by Allah.
Now with the 4-mark questions for Hajj, you could get, for example, here, 2 ways Muslims perform Hajj, or the exam can even ask you 2 actions Muslims perform at any of the stages during Hajj. So they might say 2 actions Muslims perform in Makkah or in Mina or in Mount Arafah or in Muzdalifah. So again, you have to know the specifics of what is done in those places during the Hajj, because those are on the specification and you could be asked about them. So do pause the video and have a go at any of these questions if you wish to, giving yourself a time limit of 3 to 4 minutes.
So for this question, all I have to really do is pick 2 rituals of a Hajj and explain how they are done. One way is by circling the Kaaba, first mark. They go around it 7 times together, which symbolizes unity, second mark. Another way is by going to Mount Arafah, third mark. They spend the whole day there asking Allah to forgive their sins. All I've done is pick 2 rituals of the Hajj from the many that I've spoken about already and explained how they are done.
And with the 6 mark questions you can see here, you're going to be asked about why Hajj is important to Muslims, or you could be asked about why any of those specific parts of Hajj are important to Muslims, such as Mecca, Mina, Arafah, and Muzdalifah, or you could be asked about why the Kaaba itself is important to Muslims, because all these elements are on the specification. So have a go at some of these questions, giving yourself a time limit of 4 to 5 minutes. So let's have a look at model for the importance of the Hajj question. One reason is because Hajj is a pillar of Islam. Muslims are expected to go to it once in their lifetime if they can, financially and physically. The Quran says, "Tell the people shall observe the Hajj pilgrimage." This shows that Hajj is compulsory for Muslims. And that paragraph would get 4 marks, 2 marks for a developed point, 1 mark for the source, and 1 mark for the application. Notice there, for all the pillars of Islam and the importance questions, I can always say it's important because it's a pillar of Islam. That in itself is a reason why it's important. Another reason is that it is a spiritual journey. By traveling to the house of Allah, Muslims will feel connected to their religion. That again is 2 marks for a developed point, bringing the total to 6 marks out of 6. And this question regarding the importance of Mecca, so again, that's on the specification, have to be able to answer that question, not just about the Hajj specifically. One reason is because the Kaaba is there. Muslims go to Mecca to visit the Kaaba to perform the Hajj pilgrimage. The Quran says Allah has made the Kaaba the sacred house. This shows that the Kaaba is the holiest building in Islam, which makes Mecca important. 4 marks there. Another reason is that it is the birthplace of Islam. It's where Prophet Muhammad received his first revelation and began the religion. So notice here, I'm speaking in both points about Mecca. The question is not actually about Hajj. Now in the first paragraph, I link Hajj to Mecca. That's absolutely fine because I'm still talking about Mecca. However, in the second paragraph, notice there I'm not talking about Hajj at all because the question is about the city of Mecca. The city of Mecca is the birthplace of Islam and where Prophet Muhammad got his first revelation. So therefore, both of these points are relevant to the question. I've not gone off topic and therefore I get 6 marks out of 6.